Hey guys, Julia here. Welcome back to another video, and we're getting right into the first monthly setup of 2022. The theme is based on one of my favorite recent video games, Hollow Knight, and I'm super pumped to tell you a little bit about it. I promise I won't go all gamer tunnel vision on you, but we'll just hang out a bit and set up these spreads for January. I am still in my same old Archer and Olive B5 journal for a couple more months. Definitely check out that video if you want to see how I set up my new yearly spreads. Hopping into the January spreads, we're of course starting with the cover page. For this, I'm doodling in this neat little character from the game, Hornet. Well, she's actually a boss that caused me many sleepless nights, but there's actually a sequel that may come out in February and she's the main character, so I thought it'd be fun to throw her in here with basically the star of the theme, the Grubs. And the Grubs are these like kind of cute, kind of ugly little creatures in Hollow Knight, and there are 46 of them spread out in the game, all trapped in this little glass jar. You break the jar, they go back to their little hive with their grub father, and then you get the coin, or the geo as they call it in the game. But yeah, I've used my Tombow Furunosuke for the outline, and I'm coloring everything in mostly with Tombows. And I'm being a little bit more mindful with the coloring here, being intentional about, I guess, having neat streaking with the Tombow. I usually don't care, but it really does give it a neater finish, and in this case adds a little bit of flowiness to Hornet's cloak situation. Same story for the grub coloring, but yeah, I just thought this would be a fitting theme for January, not only because I love the game and there's maybe another one coming out soon, but the freeing of the grubs, the new start, them finding their way back to their people, it just screamed New Year vibes, and I don't know, loved it. So for the accent doodle for this thing, I swear I'm trying to expand my dots and stars horizon, so for this one, I'm doing cluster of dots. I know, just totally going buck wild. But no, basically the cluster of dots and a looser wavy line are just going to be those secondary elements that will like tie everything together with the theme as a whole. And nothing has changed here for the new year. Gotta have the white highlights, people. All right, the quote page. I'm doodling a little lantern straight from the game up top with the quote, "I see only wonders," which is also a quote from a character in the game. But I love this because it's of course very whimsical, but I thought it was hopeful, and I really hope to see and appreciate and be thankful for all the wonders around me this upcoming year. And I know this time around I maybe mentioned the font I'm using for lettering inspiration, but this time around there honestly isn't one. Throughout this theme I'm using lettering that's a mix of serif and sans serif and a little gothic touch, and then I'm throwing in some script here and there as well. I think I decided just to have a little fun with the lettering this go around because it fit in with the theme. It's all about freedom and that whole deal, so just following through with that with the lettering, just sort of doing whatever feels good, I think, and I think it's perfect for the overall spirit of the theme. Once I have the lettering in there and some washi tape, I'm finishing off the quote page with those dot clusters and wavy lines, and I'm really excited about how this spread turned out. All right, let's move on to the monthly spread. I've been pretty much doing these little Dutch doors on the monthly spread since August 2021, and I just really love these. For the January header, you guys can really see here that the lettering is just a mixed bag. The J is a little scripty, there's serif letters in between, the R and Y are just a whole different deal, but I don't know, it just works for this. Moving on to the grid, it's pretty much business as usual here, basic grid, so I'm able to see the month at a glance. I totally forgot the space for the day headers up top, so I ended up putting them along the bottom, which I guess we'll see how much that throws me off. But yeah, the days are here, and I'm sure it'll keep me on my toes. Over on the side here, I'm doodling a couple of grubs in their grub home. This is where they go when you free them and where you can collect your geo for doing so. But for whatever reason, I colored one in first before the outline and the other one I did the outline first. I don't even know why, but it's kind of funny watching setups back like this and trying to make sense of what I'm doing when sometimes there's literally no rhyme or reason. But are you like a color first person or an outline first person? Probably a weird question, but I kind of want to know. So I guess let's talk about it in the comments. So down in the corner here, I'm just doodling in a little jar you find these little guys in. And of course this goes with the theme, but I also like the little curly pull handle. But I'm using Tombows to color this in, pretty straightforward, and I'm throwing in some highlights with a white acrylograph. On the Dutch door side of the page, I'm doodling in some of that in-game currency called Geo. I said earlier that freeing the grubs is one way to earn this stuff, but it kinda is pretty, right? Like it looks like a chunky metal flower or something, but also Geo flying everywhere, start of the year confetti. Hopefully you're kind of seeing this connection and I'm not just like literally insane here. But yeah, in this little area, I'll keep my social media growth tracker for both YouTube and Instagram. I'm honestly thinking about axing this and doing something else here because I'm not sure if I really care about the numbers of the whole thing. When I started doing these, I thought I would care more than I actually do. So yeah, still subscribe. That would be awesome. And I would really love that for both of us. So yeah, finishing this off with the clusters and waves, the little subtle drop shadow on the trackers, and we're out of here. Flipping that over, I'm working in the header for the night log, using that same mixed bag of lettering for this as well. You can sort of see what I'm doing here looking at the outline of the letters before I go in and color them back in. But this is pretty much my usual setup for this tracker at this point. Dinner goes on the left, the movie or TV show we watch along with it goes on the right, and at the end of the month, I tally takeout days on the left and jot down my favorite show or movie on the right. Onto the trackers. Since there's a lot of big lettering going on here, I wanted the tracker's header to be a little understated so the spread as a whole doesn't feel like crazy busy. But I'm using my Archer and Olive Subbox stencil to get in the habit trackers this month. I don't know what habits I'm tracking just yet, so I left the headers for the individual trackers blank. I actually skipped around a lot while editing this because my head was in most of the footage, not even gonna lie. I like to get right up to the notebook when I use the stencil, so yeah, I'm pretty terrible at using rulers and stencils anyway, so I mean, I just do what I can. But below that is a chart for my yearly focus areas. I'll just write in any progress with those there, throw in the accents, and that's gonna be that for this spread. Okay, moving on, a little more game talk so you get some context. I'm doodling in the Grubs song Charm for the header, and charms are just some upgrades you can equip to your character. Once you save, I think it's like 31 grubs or something, they give you this charm and basically you gain soul or like magic life power when you take damage. relate that to having graphic design clients however you will. But this page is to track long-term projects and what stage the project is in, from proofing to editing to exporting the final files. But yeah, once I have the charm kind of fleshed out here, the chart itself is pretty simple. It's just a single lined chart with a few columns to check off if the project is completed, and then a few more columns to indicate what stage the project's in. And I think I've said this before, you can use this type of chart for any kind of long-term project, like if you're writing a thesis or renovating a room in your house, just projects that have different stages that you need to track over a longer period of time. For the notes side of the spread, I'm doodling in another jar, but putting a little note in it to just sort of go with the function of the spread a little more, and just to have another place where the jar is featured. But I didn't want to put a grub inside of it. Of course, most of this page is left blank for meeting notes. I think I want to add a flip up to this actually, because I've been using a lot of note space lately, and I could definitely use that extra space since January is sure to be a busy work month because people get really motivated to do stuff and they come to us when they're motivated to make things look better. But yeah, final touch on this is just a border with little geos at the end of the line. Okay, the last spread for this setup is the weekly spread, and I'm just doodling in another grub over on the right with the tombos. And this is actually like the body position that they get in whenever you free them, and it's just like, meep, yay, you feel so accomplished that you let this little guy free. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and ramble on that, but he's got little accent circles, clusters, and waves going on around him. And then along the top, I'm working in a section for weekly events and meetings. And though the content of this page is pretty standard, I'm trying a new layout with this weekly. I've honestly been wanting to simplify my weekly spreads for a while, so this is just another go at that. You'll also notice that I have this weekly starting off on the 3rd. That's because the month for me actually starts on the 3rd, since we'll be coming back from our holiday on the 2nd. It's a Monday, so that just made it a nice even week. I have space for rolling to-dos on the right, and then I'm breaking down some other to-dos on the left, a place for YouTube tasks, Patreon, Etsy, and then I've been liking having an area to express a main priority for each day. Under that is an area that I'm leaving pretty open for whatever I may need. Could be broken up into more task categories. It could be a place for more notes or doodles, just sort of an open space for whatever I may want down there. But let's take a look at all the spreads for this month. I'm actually really stoked about how this one turned out, and I'm really happy that I just went for it. Even though I know this isn't a super widely known game, it makes me happy. I love the colors. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I love chatting with you down there. And also, yes, highly recommend the game, of course. I hope everyone rings in the new year safely, and I'm excited to hang out with you guys more in 2022. Thanks for watching, especially if you're up to this point, and I'll catch you in the next one. And if you like this video, here are a couple more I think you would enjoy.